Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, March 1st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And for those of you that are into Bitcoin, I will actually do an additional chart, a bonus chart, we'll call it Bitcoin, at the end of the video. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candle right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, MARA. And a tricky chart to talk about because there's a lot of perspective that goes into this. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe this morning, you bought right there on buying the dip, well, then from that angle, the chart looks really, really bad for you because in both those situations, obviously the price just kept dropping. With that being said, assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, let me zoom things out here. You can see that overall, the trend is still very much so in the upwards direction, and a very straightforward way to see that is just to keep an eye on that pink line there, the 200-period moving average, which when I zoom back in, you'll notice is right where the price is currently hanging out at. So let's zoom in here. And that is why this general area here is going to be a very important level of support. Now, we'll give it a little bit of wiggle room, and we'll call it just that $25 mark. Now, if the price falls below 25, does that mean the entire chart's destroyed? I'm not saying that, but that would signal that this pullback here, even from a bigger picture standpoint, is starting to look kind of sketchy, and maybe the bears are starting to retake control of things. But like I said, at that point, by no means is 25 some sort of do-or-die level, but I'd certainly call it very important because if it's breaking below 25, that would imply that it's down below that 200-period moving average, which is a very important overall moving average. In terms of if there's any sort of attempted bounce, main area to watch going to be right there at that purple line, the 50-period moving average. So yeah, today, very, very rough day, but assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, still time to build an overall higher base. So we'll see if the bulls can get that job done over the next couple of days. Next one here, SOUN, and very nice pattern breakout here for those of you that watched yesterday's video. Hopefully you remember me talking about this bull pennant pattern we had, and then you can see this morning got the breakout through there and has a nice little move since then. So congratulations to anybody that took that trade. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these levels as we now need to get some more updates into play here. So I'll zoom back in here. And really the main area of resistance, at least in my opinion, that stands out is going to be this level right here at, let's see, what is that? $7.55. Generally speaking, you can see the price actually went slightly above it right there and then hung right below it there. And then over here, never hit it exactly. But again, generally speaking, right around that level. And if it's a high volume break of 755, I like the odds that it comes up to these highs right here and pushes up through there. Now, again, no guarantee. So I'm not saying that if 75 breaks, this thing's for sure going to new highs. That's not my claim. My claim is I like the odds. I like the probabilities that a high volume break of 755 gets it up over these highs. And then from that point, how much more momentum kicks in, that remains to be seen. But what we do know is that this thing has the ability to move and move very quickly. So yeah, all eyes on 755 tomorrow. Let's see if the price can get a good high volume break of it. Next one, ENVB, and started off very nicely on the day. And I mean, still overall a nice chart. But it goes back to one of these, the talking point of perspective. If you're a day trader and you're buying there or buying right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, and then yes, from that reference point, the chart looks really, really bad for you. But if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, still plenty of time to build higher bases, and that's what matters most. So let me just zoom out to give a little bit more perspective. You can see that the price is very much so at higher levels compared to, where it's been in the past. But first level that I'd map out here from a support standpoint is you have a slightly downward sloping support trend line right there. And then on the same time, as far as resistance levels are concerned, you have a key area right up here around the $2 mark. So I'd keep a close eye on that. And again, one of these levels where if the price can curl back upwards, get a high volume break of $2, does it send it up to those new highs and above? I like the odds of that, especially because this price range right now has been very hot around the market, and people are just looking for, potential consolidations to get themselves turned back around. Like I said, I would definitely want to see a high volume break of the $2 mark. As right now, the price isn't necessarily that close to it. It's coming down, if anything, to getting closer to that level right there. And as you can see, the candle moving right there. So getting very close to that $2 mark. So we'll see if it can hold the market still is open for another 13 minutes. So who knows? Maybe you're watching this in this line. There we go. And that's why I like to use when the market's open. Check it out. Right at the trend line. So does it hold? You will have the answer by the time you watch this. If the price is down below it, then the next key level of support you'd want to turn your attention to is that 50-period moving average. Next one, PLUG, and overall pretty straightforward chart. Assuming you kind of just like to use the general levels that you got to think of a lot of other people are using, which brings about those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. But the main level here being that pink line there, which you now know is the 200 period moving average. But in this situation, because the price is below it, you would expect it to act as resistance, and that's exactly what happened there. Direct rejection right there, and then one of those kind of cruel moves where the price acts like it's a breakout, but then that level just kind of almost grabs a magnet and brings the price right back down, and then you can see it never got to revisit that level. So moving forward from a resistance standpoint, keep an eye on that pink line, 200 period moving average. And then as far as supports are concerned, from just like I said, to keep it as straightforward as possible, I would just use that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average. I mean, if you really wanted to, and I wouldn't put up any argument against this, you could draw some sort of, very near, trend line like that. Like that's completely valid and fine. I wouldn't call that illogical. But just from a presentation standpoint where I sit and trying to keep these as clean as possible, I would just say to keep an eye on the 2 moving averages there. So we'll see if the price can get a break in either direction on Friday. Next, AMC, and a very, very rough day for this one. Not necessarily because it was a red day, but because the chart had been doing so well, just building these higher bases and getting up above the 50 period moving average, staying above the 200 period moving average. And then today, all that was just wiped away. Price broke down below 480 mark support, broke down below the 50 period moving average, broke down below the 200 period moving average, and is now all the way down here. So am I going to say that the entire chart is destroyed? I want to go that far because you can see here, the price is still up in a higher range, but today was definitely a buzzkill, and you got to think it discouraged quite a few people, and that's why I would definitely call this level down here around $4.10, a very, very important level, because I can see this creating even more discouragement, because if the price were to come down here and break down below it, now all of a sudden you start to have the price back at this little consolidation area right here, and worse yet, if the price were to drop below there, now all of a sudden you have the price essentially down where this whole move started. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's why, in my opinion, $4.10, very, very important level of support if it were to come into play. In terms of areas of resistance, nothing fancy here, just based on the foundational rule that when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce, then it'll almost be a double whammy of resistance, because you'll have that 200 period moving average and you'll have that 50 period moving average right there. But yeah, anyway you look at it, very, very, I'm sure, discouraging day here for AMC. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage itself. Now, one special note, it is a live event, so maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That is okay. Go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay of it. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one, PLTR. Very nice move today. Put in higher highs and higher lows. And in fact, as I speak right now, very, very impressive last 30 minutes of the day, or really, I should say last basically hour and a half. And as I speak, this thing is pushing to even new highs here. So first update that needs to be done is just based on that rule that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. That's essentially exactly what happened here. Price came down here, hovered around, found support. Wasn't exact, but generally speaking, did a great job. And now, of course, you're getting that bounce, as I already talked about. But moving forward, 2460 by no means some sort of do or die level, because you have these other moving averages down below you. And just keep in mind, moving average, so that purple line there will continue to move itself upwards and upwards, which is essentially like a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the trend line, then the overall trend is still perfectly healthy. As far as next key battlegrounds, nothing fancy here. No complicated logic. Literally just question of, well, where did the party finally stop today? And the party stopped during that opening 30 minutes right up there at $25.30. So if the price can get up there and break up through $25.30, then that could definitely, create some more momentum. But all things considered, very nice move today. Higher highs and higher lows, and that's what matters most. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and overall, rough day here. Wasn't a total train wreck, but that's where I'm going to adjust this level down. I would definitely consider this a level that everybody and their brother, uncle is watching as support, 198.50. I mean, check this out. Acted as support a couple times there. Support there. Support there. And then today, support there. So the price isn't anywhere close to it right now, but if the price does roll back over, you got to think you're going to have all sorts of people watching it. You're going to have longs watching it thinking, well, I think it's going to bounce. Completely valid. You're going to have shorts watching it say, well, I think if it fails, it's going to just, get another big flush to the downside. Totally valid. And that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But the common theme there is that if the price were to come back down 198.50. Wow. There's going to be so many people that care about that level. So point being, definitely keep an eye on that tomorrow and in the foreseeable future if it does come back into play. In terms of the last 30 minutes, very nice move here. Good solid green candle here forming as I speak. And then from a resistance standpoint, it's all about this level right up here at 205.50, which again, one of these levels that a ton of people are going to be watching because you had it act as resistance there, had it act as resistance there, and then the opening 30 minutes today basically acted as resistance right there. So still got a ways to go, but maybe I could have just summarized this by saying, you know what, at the end of the day, as of now, over the past couple of days, we're just in a sideways channel pattern. Price is chopping back and forth. So top of the channel, 205.50. Bottom of the channel, 198.50. We'll see what happens moving over the next few days. Next one, ticker symbol AI. Very, very nice mover for this one. And let's just get a couple levels mapped out. The ideal level of support, meaning say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? That would be if the price can stay above 35.50. But if the price falls below there, that does not mean that the entire chart's destroyed. Because as I've talked about, just watch that purple line. Again, moving average, or if you want to just envision that as the overall trend line, that's going to draw itself for you. So as long as the price stays above that overall trend line, then yeah, from the overall standpoint, that would imply the price is building higher lows, and that's what matters from a big picture trend building standpoint. But yes, preferably speaking, if the price could manage to stay above 35.50, that would be a very, very impressive sign of power and strength. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing fancy here. Just going back to that, very straightforward question, where did the party stop today? And that was right up there at 38.35. In fact, you can see 3 times the price tried to get up around that general area, and all 3 times the price failed. Does not mean the price can't break through there. I'm just saying that apparently, according to the story here that's being told to us via the chart, the bulls are really going to need to bring their A game if they're going to be able to push up through that level. But all in all, very, very nice day. Next, NIO. Very, very good day for this one. So first update, just going to get that level mapped out. Levels of resistance are broken and closed above. You want to see them act as support. So I'll adjust that slightly upwards, but right there at $5.55 with that main area of support. And I'm not going to call it, absolute do or die, but very important because if the price were to come down here and then break down below it, all of a sudden you have the price having gone right back to where it was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make very impressive moves and then go right back to where they started, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So moving forward, 555 going to be very important for that reason. And then in terms of areas of resistance, 2 main battleground. Well, I don't know. Maybe we just, because I mean, there's definitely this level right here at 580. I mean, check this level out. You had it reject the price, 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 reject the price. But even if the price does break through 580, you don't want to get too excited because not that far away is right there, that 200 period moving average. So maybe just call this a resistance zone where if that can clear both these areas, then that's what I would consider a true breakout. But as I speak right now, you can see very, very nice last 30 minutes. Check out the volume bar down there. So coming to life very nicely here last 30 minutes. So we'll see if this momentum carries into Friday. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to go up, this one will also go up. And it just is a very popular ETF because it allows people access at a lower price point. But wow, last 30 minutes, check it out. Volume has come pouring in. And look at this candle, which is actually broken up through that area of resistance. So all day long, the price, I guess it got kind of close right there to that area of resistance up there around 60, 65. But now all of a sudden the price has busted through that level. So I'm not sure you could really write up a stronger close than this. So that's where our first update comes into play. Levels of resistance are broken and closed above. You want to see them act as support. Again, that would be the ideal level if the price falls below there. That's okay from the overarching standpoint. But ideally speaking, definitely you want to see the price now begin to stay above that purple line there as it curls back upwards. But assuming that you care about the big picture of things, and yeah, just watch that pink line there, 200 period moving average, and you want to see the price stay above there. And then from the breakout standpoint, all eyes going to be, and this is nothing fancy at all, it's literally just the high right there at 61.22. That's where the big momentum move got rejected back there. So keep an eye on that. But anyway, look at it. Very, very impressive last 30 minutes. And the big question, at least in my mind going into Friday, is does this momentum carry into Friday? We'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks video here. So if you enjoyed this, and I will do Bitcoin in just a second, but if you enjoyed the stock part and you want to learn more about charts and how they can and should be used, then definitely go get signed up for that free class. It'll be this evening, Thursday, February 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But if you can't make it live for whatever reason, then definitely go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But let's go talk about Bitcoin. Now, the quick disclaimer here is that I'm now using the 4-hour time frame. So all those other charts were on the 30-minute time frame. This is the 4-hour. And yesterday I talked about it and threw out the big question, okay, crazy candle right there. Was that some sort of leading indicator that this thing needed to pull back? And as of now, no. It has held up very, very impressively after forming, quite frankly, a pretty nasty candle with that sort of higher upper shadow. But you got to give credit where credit's due. It has held up nicely, and now we have a very, very interesting pattern here headed into the next several days. So let me get that to red for resistance. And then green there for support, and then maybe make it easier to see. Just keep it one color here. So we have our resistance, we have our support. You have the big move up right there. For you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down there. This would be a bull pennant pattern, and this by no means is some sort of great discovery on my part. I assure you a lot of people have noticed the bull pennant pattern, so you have that attribute of a potential self-fulfilling prophecy where there are no guarantees, but it's more than plausible to think that if the price can get up here and get the break of that bull pennant, that break in and of itself creates additional buying pressure for no other reason other than, oh, it's a pennant breakout. Oh, I'm a breakout trader. Oh, I should be buying because it's a breakout. A self-fulfilling prophecy. But to summarize this, Bitcoin headed into the next couple days, easiest way to do that, bull pennant pattern. So that's all I have for you. Again, go get signed up for that free webinar. If you can't make it live, send me an email and I'd be happy to send you a link to it. So whether you trade stocks or Bitcoin or crypto, the webinar will be for everybody. So definitely go get signed up. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, hit that like button, leave a top 10 or leave a comment below, and let me know what you think about the top 10 videos with the addition of Bitcoin. If you enjoy that, then comment down below and give me some feedback. Thanks for watching.